Well, hello. How's everyone today? I'm going to be discussing the life I chose and how I became a doctor. Um, I didn't have the best grades in school, not even a good score on my SATs. And then something about the US is that decides the rest of your life. At a young age, you're not all with it. You're not you know, not knowing what you're going to do in life. So you're going to tell me the rest of your life is decided on how you did in high school, when a lot of, especially young boys, are clowns in school. You're just there to have a good time, try to pass. You're trying to discover life, trying to discover all kinds of things at that age. But if you don't do well in high school, then you can't get into a good college. And if you do get into a good college, you can't decide on a lot of the careers they have, because a lot of your history has screwed you up. And I wasn't with that. I'm always a go-getter. I want what I want, and it doesn't matter what it takes. So what I did was, let me take you way back. In high school, there was a job fair, and I got to meet a lot of people there. I wasn't too good at math, and there was a dental booth there, and I kind of got interested in that. I was like, man, I could be a dentist. But all my teachers and everyone told me that I couldn't with my grades. So I finished high school, and this is what I did. I went overseas. I went to a country that would accept me, would accept training me. So I went on a trip first, discovered the place, and I was familiar with the country. I don't want to mention names of any countries or anything like that, but one of my brother's best friends, my brother's 10 years older than me, he went to Mexico and he became a doctor there. Once you do that, once you get that title, you can always come back to the US and get reevaluated, do whatever it takes to get the title in the US. So don't let anyone mess up your dreams. Like they say, you could become anything you want in life. Our president right now is not even a politician. He became president. And, there's so many people that are, so strict about the process, which is, a lot of this stuff is prehistoric. How old are some of these colleges? How old are some of these universities? And after I was in dental school, I kicked butt. I got into it. I loved it. I try to do well. I try to do well for my patients. And who's to say that's not you? Don't let people decide your future. If you're going to go after something, even if you had bad grades in high school or whatever it is, don't let people decide your future. Go after it. Go and discover what you can do, even if it means moving out of the country. That's what I had to do. It wasn't easy. I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to say that it was easy by any means. You're going to a different country, different culture, and a lot of these colleges, it's difficult because you end up in a college level and university level of a lot of times some other language that you're not great at. But there's leniency. They know that you're not great at a certain subject. So there's plenty of help. You make friends. The stories are amazing. You make an amazing journey. You make an amazing bunch of friends. You fall in love with a new country. And it's all part of the process. I wouldn't change anything I did. I went after it. I got it. I became a doctor, And in the US, all you got to do is pass your whatever prerequisite you need to become a doctor here. And that's just an example. You don't have to be a doctor, but be whatever you want. And the country I went to, I met a lot of foreigners because they used to come to the country because in their country there was no veterinarian studies. So tons of people would travel to this country to become veterinarians. So don't let anyone destroy your dream. Go after it, and you could just make your future yourself. You could just decide what you want to be, but you have to be creative. You have to not fall into people's little guidelines like you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't. They even made Special Olympics. Before someone invented Special Olympics, there's plenty of people that wouldn't have been able to live their dream of becoming an Olympian. And that's the moral of the story. I had a great life, great education. I was trained by the best doctors, and you start picking up things from other people. Like a lot of these jobs, it's not all grades. A lot of it is hands-on training. A lot of it is dexterity, your skills, your mental skills, your mental toughness. There was plenty of people when I started out had straight A's, and I'm not talking about low A's. I'm talking about everything they did was 98, 99% in every test. But then we got into the nitty-gritty of studying what it is that we study. So in my case was becoming a dentist. And all those people, not all of them, but there were several examples of people that got straight A's, and once we got into the heart and soul of the career, they couldn't do it. They couldn't, a lot of things like people can't mess with blood. So there was one of these cases. I'm going to give you an example. There was this one girl. She had top of the class, best grades, and as soon as we got into our dental clinic, we were extracting multiple teeth, and she passed out and decided this wasn't for her, and she changed to pharmacy. So don't let anyone decide what you're good at. You go out, explore, and choose for yourself what you're good at. But I'll tell you one thing: if you were getting bad grades in school, in high school, chances are, that happened to me, and you're going to another country, chances are you're going to have to change your disciplines. You got to adapt, and all your laziness, you got to do away with that because you're going to struggle. There's a reason why things are the way they are, but it's not set in stone is what I'm telling you. You got to change because it's still an academic study. You still have to get grades that are representable of what you want to do in life, but don't let that stop you. Maybe you have a calling. I have a cousin that he went to a university here, last example, and he played baseball. Didn't know what the heck he wanted to do in life. He was rounding second base, broke his leg, and when they were putting a cast on his leg, he said, "That's what I want to be." And he became an orthopedic surgeon just from that. It's just fate sometimes. Sometimes your calling calls you. Sometimes it finds you. But I am so proud of myself that I didn't buckle under all these rules and invisible BS rules and all these guidelines, and you can't do it. And don't even listen to your teachers. Some teachers, think you're a loser, and they treat you like a loser. And, most of my high school teachers won't even believe that I ever became a doctor or a dentist. And I don't keep in touch with them, so it's none of their business. but they'd be shocked that one day, they see me and I have a title with my name. But you're a kid, like you can't go the rest of your life not living your dream because you messed around in high school. Like, give me a break. All right. Hope this finds you well. I hope that this helps you out. If you go on that journey, please comment, go back to this video and tell me how you did it, what country you went to. Tell me, give me the story, give me the scoop. Hope it influenced you to do something like that. I hope you didn't get your dream shattered by some other loser and you go after it. It's never too late. You can do it.